Tuna Candy here, doing a guild raid recap video. I screen recorded all my runs this week, and in this particular video I got my personal best score. So I thought I'd watch this video, talk about it, talk about what I did right, what I did wrong, a little bit of my process. So like every run I do, the first thing I'm doing is trying to get Grandmama. I'll max out my summon chance, do one full set of summoning, fill up my board, and see what pieces I have for Mama. On this run you saw, immediately got all my necessary epics for Mama, sent her out immediately, and I just sent her to work. After that, I am attempting a second Grandmama, so as opposed to coin summoning at this point, I'll just be epic summoning. And you see there, I got Tree. So I got my two Mamas. And the plan is just to make as many imps as possible. I'll do a little bit of coin summoning again here. The next step that I typically want is I leave about 2 frog princes off to the side, sometimes 3. And wait for Grandmama to come to proc those. So an added wrinkle in the past couple of weeks for my guild raids, I have been starting to try to use physical damage guardians. For as long as I've been doing guild raids, I've been doing magic damage, Reaper Dion, Awakened Haley, Zap, Swats. Just talking to different people in the community, I've come to learn that I'm an absolute fool for doing magic, and that physical builds seem to be like the meta for guild raids. So I've been working on kind of rounding that out, adding in Top Veins, Chrono Autos, Ace Batman. So it's been a little bit of a learning curve in this particular run. I think it's the first time where I've had like a great amount of success doing it. So from what I've gathered, Vayne, Top Vayne in particular, seems to be like the GOAT at guild raid, from what I've heard. So I've been attempting to send out Vayne. It's what I've heard is around wave 6, 7. I want to get Vayne by then, because she needs to do her ult a certain number of times. She has a long cooldown, a certain number of times to get top Vayne. So I need to like tumble the absolute hell out of her this whole time. Which, I'm gonna be honest, that was kind of what kept me from doing top Vayne for a little while, because there's so much going on in guild raid that I was like, who has the time to be tumbling this fat green blob over and over again? When, you know, I mean, guild raid's hectic. So, anyways, we got our Grandmama, we got our Vayne, we had a good time. This particular situation, I think I accidentally clicked Zap. Usually when I'm getting a Sheriff, the first thing I'm attempting to do personally is get Haley out and try to get her awakened as soon as possible. I think I just misclicked here, but thankfully I was just drowning in Sheriffs. Look at it, then 3 more just waiting, so. At this particular stage, wave 10 first damage phase, I'm probably ecstatic. I mean, I had 2 Grandmama starts, Zap, Haley, more Sheriffs on the way. I got my top Vayne early. So I made another Zap. After I did this video, and I asked around a little bit, or after I did this raid, if I'm going to be taking more of a foray into physical, attack speed buff is going to be even more vital than it already was. Interesting wrinkle about that is, for a lot of these physical damage guardians, the way their skills work is, you know, does its skill after X amount of attacks. Like Batman does his skill after like 10 attacks, and so on and so forth with physical guardians, as opposed to magic. I think it's a % chance typically that they do their skill. So I'm just even more incentivized if I'm using physical damage troops to be having them attack faster. Therefore, they're getting off their attacks and they're doing their skills more often. I don't know. I'm still learning a lot about physical, trying to round it out. I'm, still getting the hang of it. So I got my Ace Batman, or I got my Batman looking for Ace Batman. Guild Raid, you're typically going for batter version for the single target damage. Another thing that someone had told me, I can't remember who told me, it's somebody on the Discord or something probably, that if I'm going to choose Ace Batman batter version, there's a substantial increase when he goes from 15 to 16. So if you're going to, I don't know the math behind it. This person gave me a bunch of numbers. I'm taking their word for it. But I guess there's a substantial enough increase from 15 to 16 that if you're going batter version, that might be the direction to go. So I had my 2 zaps, and then I wised up and started making indies. I mean, just wild. There's just so much going on. I have 2 indies I'm sending all over the board, excavating. I'm trying to tumble my vein as much as possible to get hopefully top vein for the entirety of the wave 20 damage phase. With all that going on, I let my Batman get stunned, so that's not ideal. So at this stage, I'm just kind of hoping for Awakened Haley to proc, and probably above all else, the last thing I need is Reaper Dion. Magic, physical, whatever. I mean, Reaper Dion's the GOAT, dude. I mean, I hear people saying, Top Vein's the #1 Guild Raider. I'm not saying that's not true, but, my runs for the past few months have lived and died by having Reaper Dion. I mean, he's just a GOAT. So I'm probably sick right now because I'm getting all these trees and wolves and I was not getting the commons for it. But look at that. I mean, I think that was my first Dion attempt. I was probably out of my mind excited. So I get that Reaper Dion, go straight to Ace Batman, send out the batter version, and then immediately I get that top vein. And then right after that, Awakened Haley with a wave to go. I'm probably over the moon right now when I was playing this. So I just upgraded my mythic level and I got it to 15. When I watched this earlier, I realized I had left it at 15 for like the entirety of this damage phase, which is low for me. I'm usually trying to attempt to be like minimum 17. So at this point, I'm hoping my Chrono Auto procs soon. I mean, I already have decent defense reduction, but Chrono Auto going off would be huge for my top vein. I'm keeping in mind my indies. I know one of them has, so at the bottom there, my attack speed 63%. So I know that one of those indies, I think, is 30-something attack speed. I think that's what you want, Maybe in co-op you want cheap toy, but for Guild Raid, just go for that gold attack speed boost. So top vein, from what I've heard, you kind of just let her throw as many rupture arrows as possible, and then you move her at the very end and let her just chunk the boss. I had the red circle come at vein, so I had to move her, but it all worked out. I had 41 million was left on this boss, and I'm going to end up clearing it with 12 seconds left. So whatever I could have gotten in 12 seconds could have been better. And there you have it. It's over. That's my run, folks. Thanks for watching.